selfish allowed me to achieve my first $10,000 day. But before I dive into how, I first want to address this common misbelief and debunk it that we've possibly learned and held with us since childhood. So I come from a family of 6, and as a child, I was told that you need to be more selfless and that being selfish is a bad thing. But what I learned from building multiple 6-figure businesses and pivoting and building out Convert to Scale is that in order to have and grow a high performance business and organization, you need to be selfish. And when I say selfish, what I mean is you need to be focused on converting until you scale. And so converting, meaning having the mindset, your lifestyle, converting your habits, converting your business relationships, your friendships, your clients, your content, and then implementing the right systems and the right people to run those systems so that way you can scale and achieve wealth and more freedom. And I actually have this written on my backdrop of my phone, backdrop of my computer, is focus. Consistency is undefeated. And what I mean by that is you have to be focused on yourself and within your business in order to really truly see results, along with showing up consistently, because as a business owner, you don't have a boss. You are your boss. And so you need to choose to show up every single day. And being selfish challenges you as a leader to focus on maximum impact and clarity to help you grow your business or your organization. And that's your job as a leader. You need to be focusing on removing the distractors that may make many selfless leaders busy or not effective, but you might be liked or not loved. But if you are more of a selfless leader, that's why you need to be more selfish in your business. And so if you're not taking the time out for your business, you need to also make sure that you're taking the time out and pouring into your own cup. Because if your cup isn't full, you're not really going to be able to fully pour into others. And so by me taking the time out myself, like years ago when I first started my business, to really pour into myself, to say no to the distractors and to eliminate some of the toxic people in my life and to really get clear on the business and the goals that I wanted to achieve, that helped give me greater balance across all aspects of my life: health, well-being, and business. So selfishness can help you tune into yourself. So now you're not only aware of your own needs, but also you're more aware of how to meet them in a healthy way. And that's why I'm so excited to bring on Melissa K, that I'm about to introduce here. And that is at melissak.coach. That is one S in Melissa, not two S's. And she is a burnout growth coach and mindset coach. And she specifically helps you as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, create sustainable self-care habits that will help you increase your productivity and balance in your life. And most importantly, your business. I don't know if you heard everything, but I just introduced you. Super excited to have you here today. I was just about to share how I love how you are able to break down like the systems in the body when it comes to self-care and like our awareness around it. And so I'll go ahead and just kind of give the mic to you if you just want to introduce yourself, and then we can kind of go into different like myths and benefits of self-care and being selfish.
That sounds great. Yes. So my name is Melissa. I'm a growth mindset coach. I have a passion to really help people learn to manage burnout, because I think burnout is a very real thing that we do not talk about enough. And understanding and really recognizing the messages that your body is giving you and what you need, and being able to take that time out of your day to give your body what it needs. Almost think of it as refueling your body and your brain. And I think, as you had mentioned, entrepreneurs, especially coaches, people in the online space, are giving all day long. All day we're giving to clients, and then often the end of the day comes and we're giving to family, right? And we don't take the time out of our day, even though our body is craving for us to do that, so that we can be our most productive and efficient self.
Mm-hmm. I love how you share that. And I know myself as an entrepreneur and now as a mom, there are oftentimes I have to like force myself to schedule myself in my day, because I will just be like full work mode with the team. Then I have Adele, and then I'm so exhausted by the end of the day. Oftentimes I think some of the limiting beliefs we have is like, oh, it's too time consuming. I don't have the time to create for myself. And then that feeling like selfish, like I need to pour into my family. I need to pour into my business. How does someone like overcome that and actually start like, okay, make time for themselves in their day in a healthy way and be aware of that?
Yeah, so my big focus is teaching people how to build simple, sustainable habits. That's like what I focus on because I think there is this sense that we get really overwhelmed thinking about how do I add in 2 hours or even an hour of my day. But it's really thinking of it as bringing it down throughout the day. How do you add 5 minutes here, 10 minutes here? But for me, the key is how do I recognize when my body needs it? Because sometimes we're in a flow and we don't want to break that flow. I'm not here to say set a timer for every hour and take a 5 minute break because that might not be the best for you. But it's being able to recognize I'm having trouble focusing. Like that usually is a key sign that your brain is like, please give me a break. Or maybe for me, sometimes it's noticing like my shoulders are so tense. And it's these small little cues that our body gives us. And when we start to really tune into that, we can say, okay, yeah, and it doesn't have to be long. It can be, I need to do a 5 minute stretch right now. Or for me, I do a lot of like walking in my neighborhood because it's simple, it's quick. I get outside. It gives me like energy and it gives me the endorphins. And then I feel like I come back, I'm like, boom, I'm ready to focus. So I think reframing our mindset on this idea that needs to be time consuming, that's blocking us in a lot of ways. It really can be simple, sustainable things that we can do.
I love that. I love how you said like being aware, and then when you like how you said like you losing focus or your shoulders are feeling tense, like being aware of your body and then actually choosing to do something. Okay, like take a break, go for a walk, stretch, go get some water, but like really being intentional about that and just being in tune with our body. And I would love to ask you, so what drove you to feel like so passionate about this? Like, did you have your own personal experience that led you to this? I would love for you to share.
Yeah, so I was a social worker and therapist before I started my online coaching business, and I was burnt out. But the thing was, I wasn't as aware of it. It was I noticed it as people were asking me, "Hey, are you doing okay?" And I was thinking, I probably knew that I was burning out, but we sometimes have this sense of denial, or we think almost like a society that we need to keep everything together needs to not show. And so for me, as people started asking me these questions, it showed to me as I wasn't present in the moment. I really had a hard time racing thoughts. I was always thinking about work. For me, it was also working long hours. I wasn't taking care of myself, right? And the systems in my body were telling me that. And so that sort of it came to a point where it was I needed to change. I needed to pivot. And as I started my business, I saw that a lot of people in the online space are in similar boats, and there's no space for it. We don't have this community where we can come together and talk about it, or these resources. And I think, as you said, for me, there's so many myths about self-care, and I really have a passion to break those down because they get in our way, right? If you look at your day-to-day basis, I guarantee people are doing self-care. It's just that we don't recognize certain things like brushing our teeth or eating meals as self-care. But when we change our mindset to what fuels our body and our brain, it really almost is a light bulb moment of it doesn't have to be complicated. It can be simple. We can listen to our body and know what we need. And then that empowerment, at least for me, was so game changing of really feeling in control of what I need so that my business is thriving, right? My personal life is thriving, all of these different aspects.
Okay, so you didn't realize it. People were telling you. So at what point was it like a light bulb where people kept telling you like, "Oh, you feel tense," and like they could see it in your body, but you weren't aware? Like, how do you become aware of that? Like, if I was someone who is experiencing that, not aware, like I'm working and I feel like I have to work, I have to work, I have to work. I'm tense, and even though I feel it, like it's like I'm ignoring it. How do I become more in tune?
So I think for me, it was, and this other people may relate to this too, it was subconsciously I knew, but it was then having the space to be able to admit it and figure it out, right? And I think looking back, there were definitely signs, and I think people can use these signs like, are you tired all the time? Are you really struggling to be focused in the moment? Do you have energy throughout your day, right? These are simple signs that your body will give you if it needs something. And how's your mood too, right? Sometimes for burnout, it can be irritable, it can be tired. There's different signs for different people, but I think what I would do is start throughout your day, just noticing like, how am I feeling at different hours, And as you start to see these things, then you may be recognizing more okay, like this is something going on. What does my body need?
I love that. And I meant to ask you this earlier before we came on, but do you have any kind of like resource, like, hey, these are kind of the key indicators of like being aware of your body and knowing the triggers, so that way these are things you can do when you feel this way. Do you have anything like that, like a resource like that?
I don't have anything specific, but it's something that now I'm like, that would be really helpful for people. But I think for me, I don't know if you've heard of body scans, but it's something that I kind of teach and have taught my clients, even in the social work field, of sometimes just taking 5 minutes at most, right? We're not talking a long time. And you start in your head and you just notice, like, how are my shoulders? How are my hands? Like, it's simple little things that you might not even realize if you're not being aware, but those will tell you a lot of these messages. And then you can start to see, okay, for me, the biggest impact has been movement, because it just impacts so many of your systems and you're getting endorphins, and that just puts you almost in a different space and helps your brain, the logical part of your brain, to come back online too.
I love that. And so now, once someone starts implementing these techniques, they're now more in tune with their nervous system, they're more aware of their body, their breathing, and they actually start doing things. What are some of like the benefits of now like being aware that people can experience, that you might have experienced yourself? And then I'll share some of mine as well.
Yeah. So I think now that I've really taken the time to understand what I need, it's not the snowball effect that used to happen where, when you would sometimes get overwhelmed and then it's, oh my gosh, I'm starting to feel overwhelmed. It almost feels out of control is the way I describe it. Like, I'm feeling overwhelmed. I don't want to. I'm trying to pull it back. There's this tug and pull, versus now for me, it's okay, I'm feeling overwhelmed. Like, we associated that overwhelm, like almost negative emotion to it. And now it's almost being able to say, okay, what's the message? So it's really coming from things at more of a neutral perspective that you have control on. So it puts the power almost back in your seat, instead of, oh my gosh, I have 100 things I need to do before the end of the day, and now I'm feeling overwhelmed. I need to focus. Like, my brain needs to help me out here. Like, come on, let's go. I have all these things, and you're kind of in that mindset spiral. It's being able to say, from a neutral standpoint for me, like, I'm feeling overwhelmed. Okay. And you're going to start to notice, like, your body is just like, oh, yeah, we're not feeling that physically right now because we're just overwhelmed. And then it's taking your toolbox, right? Because I teach how do you build a self-care toolbox, where then you're saying, okay, I'm overwhelmed. Maybe I just need a break. And you go for a walk for 5 minutes and you come back and your brain is like, thanks. And you're able to then focus, right? And be productive and get the things done that you want, versus, I don't know, how many times have I sat there and done work for a few hours, but really has the work been as efficient as it could have been if I just gave my body what it needed at the time? Probably not, right? And so I think it's that reframing of, okay, so I need something. What do I need? Okay, I got it. And now we're going to go back and we're going to get everything done that we wanted to get done.
Yeah, no, I love that. And especially, like, I know myself in my beginning stages of entrepreneurship, I was just very focused on like work. I wouldn't work out. I wasn't really eating well. I wasn't drinking water. And so I would feel that overwhelm. I would feel that burnout. And I'd feel like I'm doing work, but I'm not getting anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not productive. I feel like it's just like blob on a paper or blob on the computer, or, whatever what you want to call it. And then it wasn't until I was like really starting to be intentional about taking time for myself. So if that meant going to bed earlier so I can wake up earlier, so I can have that time for myself, so I can have movement in the day, like exercise, so I can eat a really good breakfast, so I can drink water, so I could journal, so I can meditate. And then I realized when I was pouring more into myself, naturally business started to flourish. I had more clarity when I worked. I had more clarity in my conversations. I was also more aware of like the goals that I wanted to achieve. So I was started to set boundaries and say no more often than yes, feeling like I need to be giving. It's like, no, I need to be pouring into me and my business. And when I started doing that, I started seeing a rippling effect in my energy, but also in my bottom line, in my productivity. And then it's just like, wow, now you see, just by taking the time to be selfish and implement these self-care habits, how it just kind of catapults into other areas of your life.
Yeah.
Do you feel felt the same since you've pivoted and like left like that job that was like hectic, and now you're in your zone of genius pouring into others like you do?
Yes. And I can't explain it other than just like it feels aligned, right? And I think sometimes that's part of it, is taking care of yourself. You're able to get those gold nuggets, as they say, that your brain has for you, and really thrive with them, whether it be in your business, your personal life, all different directions. But it's almost like a sense of ease, right? Don't get me wrong, there's still a lot of work being a business owner, and it's still time consuming, and I can't take that away from you, but it's almost like this sense of like, I describe it as internal like centeredness. It's okay, I have this thing. So when things outside of me maybe feel chaotic, whether it be maybe someone cancels a meeting or whatever it might be, I have tools to be like, it's okay. And I'm not going to stay on that stress, and I'm going to keep going, right? And so I think it's just so empowering.
Yeah. And so would you say that by including more self-care and being more aware, like, and being more productive, have you personally seen more growth within your business? Like now you have your program coming out, because you're able to focus. Like you're able to focus on the task at hand and actually get the job done and increase performance, increase productivity. And then now your business is now operating more smoothly because you are at ease.
Right. And I think there's this sense of confidence, right? It's, you feel like you're working efficiently. And for me, it's also excitement. It's that I'm stepping into these things at the beginning of my day, feeling excited and feeling energized versus dreading things or feeling exhausted or not starting the day off in the right spot. Because I know we've probably all been there, or it's just me. But regardless, there's times when you start the day and you just are like, oh, okay. But it's totally different when you start the day just excited, energized.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that energy, I love how you kept mentioning energy and energized, because when you pour into yourself and you feel that energy, you're naturally going to, like when you're doing a task, it doesn't feel like work. It feels like you're doing what you love. And then naturally you're just like pushing out content. You're pushing out, whatever you're needing to build out. And then it gets done. And then you show up with more energy to your people here online, when you're live, when you're in your stories, when you're doing in your content. And then that's naturally going to come across in your content, where people are like, oh my gosh, I need to work with you. I want to work with you, Melissa. I need you as my coach, because you're showing up energized, because you're pouring into your cup, because you're taking time to be selfish and pour into your self-care routine. That's so powerful. So I would love for you to share more about what your offer is and how people can work with you.
Yeah. So right now I'm going to be launching a group program. It's called Equilibrium Architect Academy, because the goal is that we are going to create like an internal sense of equilibrium and centeredness, right? And it's a 10-week program where we go through building different habits, but really my focus is what's the science behind it, right? Because I think if we can really understand that going for a walk or journaling or these things that we hear all the time have so much power for your body. It's mind-blowing, the science. And so I focus a lot on that too, because I think that energizes people and it's more motivating. We also will meet weekly, because I am a firm believer that accountability and support is key for building habits. Habits don't happen overnight, right? This is not me coming here and yesterday I was burnt out. I was burnt out a year and a half ago, and it's a process. But now I know and have confidence that I have a toolbox that's going to sustain me. And so it's building those toolboxes throughout this program, meeting together. I also do guided meditations, because I think that is a very overlooked practice. We talk about meditation a lot, but the power of being able to slow your mind down is incredible. And so it's also intimidating, as someone who is intimidated and was intimidated by it to start. So having someone build in like a slow practice over 10 weeks is also something that would be part of the program.
Yeah. I love, like you said, it doesn't happen overnight. Like nothing in life, your business, the habits that you want to create had happen overnight. So it's focusing on pouring into yourself consistently over time, compounded, is where you're going to see the results and the success. And so if for those who are interested in joining the Equilibrium, I'm just going to shorten it.
Yeah.
Find you at the link in your bio at melissak.coach, correct?
Yep.
for all the information. So you guys who are here, I hope you found this valuable. Make sure to go and follow her. Make sure to follow me if you're not already. We hope you found this valuable. Did you want to add anything else, Melissa?
No, just thank you for having this. This is awesome to share. And I just want to encourage people, like, it is possible wherever you are to build these habits, and they will make a huge difference for you.
Yes, not only for yourself, but also for your business and your bottom line. We'll see you in the next live, y'all. Have a wonderful, blessed day.
Bye.